Hello, Santa Clarita. My name is Mike Bjorkman. You're watching Minute with Mike here on SCV TV. I'm proud to introduce today Mr. Gregg Goodman from Farmers Insurance. Say hello, Gregg.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me here today.
Anytime, bud. The reason I have Gregg on our show today is we have clients, whether it's homes that I manage for SCV leasing, residential, or a lot of my clients that do commercial, and just Gregg's an all-around agent. So when it comes to interviewing somebody about insurance, he can answer the questions. Matter of fact, you've been out here how long now?
I've been here since 1993, right before the great earthquake.
Right.
And then I became an agent that day.
And we go back a long way. We've known each other a long time. I got into real estate here in 1991 and actually started doing very good in 1993, right before that earthquake. And that earthquake is what got us heavily into real estate. And
that's when a lot of people started buying homes because the prices went down.
Absolutely.
So
So by 1996, the market was crazy. So what I wanted to do today was ask you a few very specific questions. And I wanted to start out with residential homes, because a lot of people ask me, Mike, what should I have? Should I have a landlord policy, or should I keep my normal homeowners policy in place? Can you briefly describe the differences of that?
Well, pretty much in your business, you're leasing homes, so all those clients or the insureds need to get a landlord protector policy because you're mainly insuring the home while someone is renting your house.
Right.
Okay. The biggest difference is that we're not there's no coverage for your own personal property because you're assuming that the renter or the leaser is has their own personal property.
Right.
That's the number one difference.
So I'll tell you what I say. My clients at SCV Leasing always ask me, Mike, should I have a homeowner policy or landlord policy? And what I tell them right now is, look, you need to call Gregg because he can ask you certain questions that can help you make the correct answer. Do you have any feeling on right off the bat, should they have an owner's or should they have a landlord? Is there any particular reasons why?
Well, the main thing is if you own your home and you're living in your home, you have to have a homeowner's policy.
No, I'm saying as a rental only.
As a rental only, you have to have a landlord protector policy.
Okay.
Because technically it's fraudulent. I mean,
so if somebody moves out, rents their home out, does not disclose that to you, we have an issue if there's a claim.
You do have an issue if there's a claim, yes.
Okay, that's the point I was trying to get
at.
Awesome. All right, so as far as a renter, I enforce every single tenant at SCV Leasing, they must prove to me that they have renter's insurance. How would a renter benefit from having that policy?
Well, technically, when you rent a house, let's say you're renting a house from SCV Leasing or whatever, their personal property or the liability isn't really protected. So if there is some damage, if there's a fire, or theft, none of their property is covered.
So that big screen TV you just bought is a goner unless you have the policy. What about things like if my house had a huge water leak and we discovered there's mold all over the place? Does that cover their contents? Does it cover, what might that cover in a situation?
The problem with that, first off,
maybe I shouldn't say the mold.
Yeah, don't say mold because mold is not covered anymore.
Right. What if a water leak occurred and they must move out?
Okay, the people who, if they do not have a renter's, first off, if there is a leak and people have to move out, the lessor will have loss of use coverage. That is what is in a landlord protector. So if they have to kick someone out, they're going to get loss of rents.
Okay.
But
what
the
about
people, the tenant inside, if they don't have renter's insurance, they're going to start looking for another place to live.
Right.
Because it's not going to be covered.
So if they have that insurance, they're protected much better.
Correct.
Okay, awesome. That's what I wanted to point out for sure. Let me ask you this question. If I was a homeowner and I had a landlord policy, should I or shouldn't I, or is there any benefit to having a much larger umbrella policy?
I always tell everyone if they are going to rent any properties out and have a homeowner's policy, they should always get another $1 million personal umbrella policy. It just helps cover their liability coverage. Because you don't know, when you interview someone to move in, you don't know if they're going to have parties or what's going on in the house. Someone might fall off a roof. You need to protect yourself and have a little bit more liability coverage. And the big thing, a personal umbrella policy is maybe $235 a year.
I was just going to make that point, how ridiculously inexpensive it is, and Lord knows we never want to use that. Now, I'm always a little bit edgy on my show, and I've had arguments with people that say, Mike, I don't want an umbrella policy because that means when people find out, they're going to really sue me that much more. My answer to that is, yeah, but now I have 2 policies, and farmers insurance lawyers are going to work twice as hard to protect me. Is there any truth to that, or is that kind of like one of those things you're not really supposed to talk about?
How is anyone really going to know, first off? And I've been involved in this business for 20 years, and that is like a fallacy. My job is to protect the client,
right?
If something does happen. And we have had $1 million claims, so you have to make sure you protect the person. And you know what? If they sue you for $1,500,000, so be it. But at least you're covered, okay?
Right.
Because what happens if someone does fall off a roof or has a party, breaks their neck, and you have $300,000 coverage, that's not going to cover you. So you're in big trouble. You're going to lose everything off of that issue.
Right. And again, so folks, the point I want to make here is, as a business owner, a homeowner, investor that owns properties, I can sleep at night knowing I have the proper coverage. If you're out there running on the edge in the gray area trying to save a few bucks, trust me, I've seen a lot of things in this business. It's not worth it. Now, that leads me into the last part of our segment. Why on earth would I personally use you for workman's comp at all my locations, have you covered my all this stuff that I have with you? Why would I have that with Farmers Insurance and Gregg Goodman versus some of the other companies out there like Hootenanny Insurance and the Quack Quacks and the whatever that is?
Well, as you know, you and I have been doing business together all the time. We refer business back and forth, and we have a big mutual respect. And as you know, I have Carolyn Breimer in my office, who is the most efficient person I've ever had in my life.
Wonderful
and she's been with me for 18 years. Farmers is an awesome company. I love my company. They're backed. They're owned by, we're owned by Zurich, so we're backed by a lot of money. We don't have any issues with claims. They're pretty much very fair. And I love my company. I've been almost 20 years I've been with them. And my business, I've been here for 20 years. I'm pretty well respected. And as everyone knows,
just ask him, folks.
Just tell me we're there.
No, he's right.
But we're there in the office every day.
Yeah, no, that's true. Every time I call, somebody answers the phone. If they're gone for lunch, you guys call me right back.
Right.
Email, faxes right away. I love the customer service. Of course, Carolyn is probably the best agent I've had in a long time.
She runs the show.
Just simple things like my moving van, for instance, I own. I mean, she's on top of that, explains everything really well.
Certificates.
Yeah, things that a lot of insurance companies won't cover.
And that's just
Farmers does.
And the one thing that Carolyn does also is that SCV leasing sometimes has to be an additional insured on some of the homes for the property management. Our office and Carolyn gets them out in 5 minutes because we want to make sure, get that done. I mean, that's just a paperwork issue, so this will get it done really quick.
Right, awesome. Is there anything else you want to add? Maybe how people can get a hold of you?
The best way to get a hold of me is my office is 661-254-6739. My email address is ggoodman@farmersagent.com. And if anyone wants to call me on my cell phone, it's 661-803-2028. And
we got 2 cell phone numbers on our show today already. That's awesome.
We're in it for the long run. I've been here for a long time, and I have one more kid to get through college.
There you go. Well, that's a good way to wrap it up, folks. I am Mike Bjorkman. You're watching Minute with Mike here on SCV TV. As always, I truly appreciate you watching. I'm open for questions. Find me on the web, SantaClaritaRealEstate.com, or for the rentals, SCVLeasing.com. My cell phone is 212-8075, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.